Alright, we have a video when evil kids realize they've been caught. Let's rush.
In March of 2021, the Dellen, Florida Police Department received a frantic phone
Go.
call from a man later identified as Colby Allen Parker.
I report an incident here. I just had a Vietnam veteran attack me, and I had to defend myself, and it just got out of control.
The Vietnam veteran he mentioned was his grandfather, Ronald Wells Sr., who Parker claimed grabbed a knife and attacked him. Only moments after the initial call, the police would receive a second frantic phone call, this time from one of Parker's friends.
Just called my phone, and he was, just sounded high out of his mind. I was like, is Pops there? His grandfather that he lives with. And he's like, no. And I said, are you all right? He's like, Pops is done. He tried to attack me, and I killed him.
When police arrived at the scene, they found Ronald laying dead, a bloody baseball bat, a knife, and Colby Parker. He claimed it was self-defense, and at first they believed him. But only minutes after investigating the scene, Colby would unveil a disturbing secret that take him all the way to the top of the suspect list.
What? What is that?
Those are ears.
Keisha's about to wow us with her tree number 3.
That's right.
Because she went to Michael's and gave a roll with...
Hey!
Those are ears.
Hey!
Use the view and just get a couple.
One more pat him down real quick. Hey!
Hey, don't do that, buddy.
Don't do that.
That's not
Sit
good.
your ass back down.
Only seconds after police arrive on the scene, Colby decides to lunge at the officers. This kind of behavior would definitely put the officers on high alert. The officers pat Colby down to make sure he doesn't have a weapon, but find none. Instead, Colby's hands being covered in blood, and they decide to photograph them.
What do you got on you?
Turn and place them against the car. We're not going to keep playing this game. We're going to have some issues.
Hands there.
Get this, grab a hand. Yeah. Let's get this figured out. Do you have anything or not?
No, not weapon-wise.
Nothing. Okay. Sweet.
Did you pull him
Pictures
out?
of you?
What the hell was that?
A bug. Hold your hands out like this. Turn 'em over. You don't have any other injuries on you? Or no injuries at all?
No. Face shots.
Yeah.
As the cops start to gather more evidence, tensions begin to rise.
Oh, can I see your gun, bro?
No.
What?
The cop, of course, denies Parker's request to see his gun. The nonchalant nature of the comment is concerning in and of itself and without a doubt would put any officer on high alert. But the thought of Parker actually getting the gun is even more alarming. Obviously, it's unclear what his intentions were when he asked that, but I think we can all assume it was nothing good.
Who asked that?
Where was the knife at originally?
Do me a favor and just sit back down, bud.
Go ahead. Go have a seat. That's probably it. It's unfortunately the one that was pulled in purpose.
To make matters worse, while the officers begin questioning Parker, he gets up off of the truck for a second time. He tries to play it off as just a stretch, but the officers on the scene aren't buying it. He's breathing heavily, touching his face, fidgeting his arms. These are all signs that his stress and anxiety levels are rising rapidly. It's expected for someone who had just been involved in such a horrific scene to be acting so odd. However, at this point, the officers are beginning to think Colby is acting increasingly suspicious. His actions are leading them to believe he's definitely hiding something from them.
So why was the knife on the front porch? You know? Nothing.
Oh, the knife? Yeah, it was over here.
You're good. Just hang out there, bud.
Sit, sit.
There's definitely nobody else in the house, right?
There's a dog that's aggressive. Other than that, I don't know where Junior is. I asked and he didn't know.
The officers talk amongst themselves and begin questioning the whereabouts of Colby's uncle, Junior. Here's what they know at this point. They have a dead man on the front porch, and the last person who was with him is Colby, and he's claiming it was self-defense. But if that was true, why did he ask for the officer's gun? Why did he lunge at them? Little did they know all of their questions were about to be answered.
So, what? Junior? Yeah. Where's Junior?
Ronnie Jr. right here.
Ronnie. Okay, what is that?
Those are ears.
Those are ears. Can you hold those up for me?
Colby reaches inside his pockets and pulls out both his grandfather's severed ears. And at that moment, Parker's behavior started to make sense.
Can you hold those out for me? All right. So I'll take these from you. I got it. Let go. Yep.
It's crazy.
At this point, the officers know they were dealing with someone truly dangerous, so the next moments are extremely vital. They have to proceed with caution. So it may seem strange that they decide to take photos of their newfound evidence before putting him in handcuffs. But it's important to make sure their suspect stays calm, because if they pull out handcuffs now, there was no telling if Parker would snap and put everyone in danger.
So where's Ronnie Jr. at? Is he inside? Is there somebody else inside? Hey, Sarge, we're going to need ACO. Oh. Probably going to need ACO. Hey! Motherfucker! Get down! Taser!
He's still fighting?
Taser! Get on him! He's trying to get this place fucking gun.
Where's the second guy? Who called?
Taser! Motherfucker! 33 traffic light, we're fighting them.
Colby puts up a fight, even trying to pull the gun off of one of the cops. But Colby was no match for 3 officers and a taser.
Is he handcuffed? Happened.
Taser! No. Come on, Zach! Come on, the other hand. I got the other hand. He's trying to get up. Get him down. Pull his legs down. Easy. Get the other hand. And get it back to him. I have it. Stop.
It didn't take them long to pull him down to the ground, cuff him, and cart him off in the police cruiser. Eventually, Parker was charged with second-degree murder, 2 counts of battery on a law enforcement officer, and resisting arrest with violence. Colby Parker's evidence pointed straight to an easy arrest. But what happens when the only evidence police find is a lifeless body upstairs?
I just got home from vacation with my family, and I didn't have a key to come in the house. And I see that my husband's cars are here. I was knocking on the door trying to get in.
Okay, so you think your husband's in the house?
I'm assuming that he is because we have 3 cars. All 3 cars are here. I've been texting him and calling him for the last couple of days and nothing.
Jane Warren arrived home from vacation after being unable to reach her husband, 59-year-old Richard Warren, for several days.
She came home from vacation and can't get in. Her husband's on the door. Look, there's some doorbell or some kind of person back in there.
Okay.
Broken glass and stuff.
They don't have any keys to the house?
No, they're in the house, she said.
Despite Richard's car being in the driveway, he wasn't answering the door, and without keys, police were left with no choice. There were clear signs of a brutal forced entry, but the crime they would soon uncover and the reasons behind it would prove as senseless as it was utterly tragic.
Okay, we obviously got the garage door open, but the inside door is locked. We're just gonna force that open and go take a look, okay? All right. Let's do it. He's upstairs. Obvious measure. Get keys all over the place. We're still trying to figure out what's going on. We haven't found any weapons. So doors were locked. We can't find the guns. Magazine.
Another set of officers moved to the back of the house, out of view of neighbors and family. The officers who entered through the garage emerged to report the grisly findings. If anyone on scene had suspected the man of taking his own life, the discovery of multiple shell casings immediately refuted the theory. This was a murder scene.
Ma'am, I'm very sorry your husband has passed away.
No.
You can only imagine that by this point, Jane would have no choice but to have been thinking the worst of the situation. And her reaction to the devastating news only supported this.
There were multiple shell casings found at the scene. For the high-powered rifle, a .223 caliber rifle, Dr. Warren was shot multiple times.
Richard had been shot multiple times with a high-powered rifle, including in the head. It was a vicious crime that demonstrated an extreme amount of anger by the perpetrator. And when Jane is brought in for questioning, two potential suspects emerge, both as unlikely as the murder itself. 31-year-old Michael Warren and 29-year-old Mark Warren, Richard's two adult sons.
You've been married 10 years. How would you characterize your marriage between you and Richard? Good?
It's nice. He had problems with his son, Michael and Mark.
Apparently.
They threatened him
They threatened him. How did they threaten him?
to chop him up.
To chop up their own father?
For years prior to the murder, the brothers were living in a house their father had bought them. But when Richard decided it was time, he cut them off financially, and they would be forced to fend for themselves, they instead chose to enact a deadly plan. Only days later, the Beechwood and South Euclid officers would arrive at the brothers' house to question them on the death of their father. But when the officers started knocking at the door, the brothers began shooting at them from inside the home. SWAT arrived at the scene and a 12-hour standoff ensued. When the officers eventually breached the door, they discovered Mark and Michael both dead from self-inflicted gunshot wounds. Unfortunately, both of these cases are examples of when officers arrived at the scene after lives had already been lost. But what happens when officers catch the criminal red-handed right before tragedy? Click here to find out. In March of 20...
Okay. If you made it this far, thank you. Please drop a like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Peace.